Hi, my name is Lexi. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to do a video on something I can't believe I haven't done yet. And that is just fasting as a stay-at-home mom, unique challenges and how I handle them. And I just want to say that I don't think that fasting as a mom is any harder than fasting as anyone else. And I know that probably might be surprising or people might disagree with that. But I just think that in every situation, there's challenges and there's also benefits. So you just have to kind of look at the situation and use the benefits to your advantage and learn how to work through the challenges. And also, I just want to say a quick note to moms of very young kids, like babies, toddlers. I am going to give you a special message at the end. And I do think you are in a especially challenging season of life. So I want to acknowledge that. My kids are ages 5 through 14. So there's a big difference between that and having all kids under the age of 5. And so I will just acknowledge that. But I want to say, so when I started fasting, my kids were 4 to 12 was their ages. So like I wasn't nursing. I never dealt with anything like that. And again, I'm gonna kind of address that at the end of this video. So the first thing that really helps me as a mom is meal planning. 100%. I've been meal planning for, I don't know, like ever since I got married. So I've been meal planning for a long, long time. And I find that that helps me so much. And you're like, why would meal planning help you in your fasting? Well, because I always know what I'm gonna make. So I try to plan my meals around things that are really easy for me to make when I'm fasting and things that I'm not like super tempted by. So usually it's gonna be something like spaghetti or tacos or really easy things that I can kind of make on autopilot. It's not like something that I'm trying a new recipe and I'm worried that it's not gonna taste right. It's like I can do that in my sleep, right? So these are the easiest things that I can plan. And I will say that as a stay-at-home mom, I think one of the advantages is that it's actually easier for me to make food at home than it is to drive somewhere and go get fast food. So like the places that my family would actually want to eat as far as fast food are about like 15 minutes away. So when you consider the time that it takes to drive there, wait in line, and drive home, it's way faster for me to actually make food at home. So when you incorporate the monthly meal planning along with that, it just makes it so much easier and cuts back on that decision fatigue that, you're more likely, if you're going to make a decision last minute and you're fasting, you're probably going to make a decision of something that sounds good to you, and then you might want to eat it, and it's just a little more tempting than if you're just, what you're making, you make it, you're done. It's just part of the routine. And another note on that is just that when you're eating well, so when you can plan for meals that you're also looking forward to on your eating day, and you're making sure that you have a plan of you're going to be well nourished and well fed on your eating day, that's going to set you up for success on your fasting day, because the more nutrients and just the more satisfied you are in your eating window, the better off you're going to be in your fast, because it just creates a healthy cycle of fasting and feasting where you are satisfied with both. The next thing I want to talk about is routines. Routines help me so much. So I am definitely a routine-oriented person. It's difficult for me when I get off of my routine, but it does happen. But in general, I think routines for someone like me are very helpful. So I have certain things that I do on certain days of the week. So my typical fasting schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now on Mondays, my routine is to strip all the beds and change the sheets and wash all the bedding. So that kind of takes me some time, and it's just something that I do every Monday morning, and it kind of just gets me going for the day, gets me doing something when I'm fasting. When I do these chores, I like to listen to fasting podcasts. I have a video on my favorite fasting podcasts. Love listening to those. Keeps me motivated, helps me remember why I am doing what I'm doing while I'm also getting something done. So I love that. And so that's what I do on Mondays. And obviously I have other chores and things that I do on these days, but these are just kind of like those, I don't know, it's almost like just something that helps me stay in this routine, in this rhythm with life, and keeping me productive, but also, motivating me with a fast. So then on Wednesdays, what I do typically is I mop the floor and clean all the toilets. Again, I listen to podcasts while I'm doing this. I also typically will go grocery shopping on Wednesdays. I actually homeschool, and so we do a 4-day school schedule. So we school on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So on Wednesdays, we take mostly off of school. My oldest, he's going into high school, so he does have to do some work on Wednesdays. But that's how we structure our week, so that we have a little more flexibility. Wednesdays, I get more chores done. I get my errands done. That's when I schedule like doctor's appointments if I need to and if I can, or dentist appointments. So that's the day we kind of get things done. I will grocery shop typically on that day. And again, it's really helpful to have a list when you are grocery shopping and fasting, because you will end up with all kinds of stuff in your cart when you're fasting if you are not sticking to a plan. And then on Fridays, I vacuum the entire upstairs, which takes a while. And I do laundry and other things. Like I said, on these days, we do school Mondays and Fridays when I'm fasting, and that's totally fine. But these things just help me, I don't know, they just, like I said, it's just that routine and that rhythm that keeps me going. So one note that I want to say is the freezer is your friend. Okay, so oftentimes when you're fasting and your kids are eating something, it looks good, stick it in the freezer, keep your portion or in the back of the fridge where no one's gonna touch it, no one's gonna bother it. And you always have to know that, you can set something aside for yourself. The other thing that is very difficult for me, and probably one of the hardest things about fasting as a stay-at-home mom, is leftovers, because I have a hard time throwing away food. I really don't want to throw away food. It's always my goal not to waste food. But what I've realized is that I cannot be a human garbage disposal. So if my kids have, crusts of bread on their plate left over or whatever, it's not my job to just clean up what everyone else won't eat, everyone's scraps, I want to choose mindfully what I'm eating. And as much as I hate throwing away food, it doesn't actually help anyone for me to eat the garbage leftovers, you know what I mean? So I try to save what I can. If there's a lot of food left over and I know it's not going to get eaten, I will freeze what I can. I will eat leftovers. I love leftovers. So I definitely plan my meals, try to plan for the amount that I know everyone's going to eat, or the leftovers that I will be able to get to. It takes a lot of time to get to the point where you are better at that, because it's an adjustment when you're eating less often, to kind of know how to, plan around that. But I'm getting better, and I've just realized that, I try to save what I can. I definitely save what I want for later when I can, but I don't worry too much about 100% not wasting anything, because honestly, it's impossible. And if I could, I would, but I just can't set myself up for that expectation. Now, the number one thing that helps in any type of fasting schedule, but definitely as a mom when you're around food a lot, is mindset. Okay, so mindset is so key. Um, and you know what? Like, a lot of people have had to deal with this in the past year. People who weren't stay-at-home parents, who have been stay-at-home parents, who are now are facing the challenge of being around food, preparing food for their families all the time. And so mindset is so important. When you are preparing food for your kids and the thought comes into your head, oh, I really wish I could eat right now. It looks really good. It smells really good. Thinking in your head, I get to eat that tomorrow instead of I can't eat that today. Or I'm so grateful I get to eat tomorrow, because honestly, there are many people around the world who don't know if they're going to get to eat tomorrow. And I know that I'm super grateful that I can make the choice of when I eat, and food is available to me, and that's a blessing. And also, I want to point out that you always have the choice of eating or not eating. Like, you're making the choice to fast. And so, if you really, really wanted to eat, you felt like you needed to, or you really wanted to eat something for whatever reason, if some special thing comes up, you can make that choice. It is always your choice. And I want that to be very clear. No one's making you do this. I would hope that you are choosing this. And so, to be successful in fasting, resentment has to go out the window. This has to be a choice that you're making, and we have to be grateful for those choices and for the effects of the choices that we're making. And logistically, if it's hard for you to remember not to eat, especially in the beginning, if this is not like an established habit, some people say that like wearing a certain bracelet or something on their wrist where they can see it visually when, maybe you're about to grab some food and put it in your mouth just mechanically, because I know a lot of us moms are used to doing that. Just when you have those leftovers that you're about to throw away or whatever it is, something like that, a visual reminder, maybe a ring or a bracelet, or something like that might help. So those are the things that help me the most. Please ask if you have any questions. I'm sure I left things out, as I always do, but one thing that I want to mention is moms of little kids. Now, the biggest thing that's going to help you is to give yourself grace, because you are in a difficult season of life. You don't have older kids to help you out. You have crazy sleep schedules. Sleep definitely throws you off. If you're up all night and you're trying to do a full day fast, that might not be the best choice. I would say too that, and this is really important if you don't know this already, if you're pregnant, do not fast. It's not recommended to fast when you're pregnant. Breastfeeding is also not really recommended. You might be able to get away with like a longer window, like a daily window. I would not do alternate day fasting if you are trying to breastfeed, because the most important thing is for you to nourish your baby and yourself, because your baby is taking a lot of your nutrients away, and so you need to make sure that you are properly fed. So honestly, if I was nursing, I wouldn't worry about fasting too much. What I might do is just try not to do like after dinner, like snacking, really just cut back on the snacking. But even if you need to snack, like that's understandable. Your body does need that extra nourishment. So I would focus more on what you're eating instead of the fasting right now. And especially, you don't want to be comparing yourself to others. You don't want to be comparing yourself to that impossible standard of beauty, to those celebrities who you see, who have a six-pack abs a week after giving birth, or maybe your friend who fits into their pre-pregnancy jeans on the way home from the hospital. Like, yes, it happens, but it is very rare, and you don't need to feel like that's your reality. You don't need to be that way, because that is very rare, and we shouldn't be expecting those sorts of results. And so really just giving yourself grace and time, and I would learn, during this period of time, I would just be educating yourself, reading some amazing fasting books. I have a lot of those linked below. Listen to podcasts, get inspiration, but you know, the expectation for the results really need to kind of pump the brakes on those. So yeah, and then once you do get past that part where maybe you're not breastfeeding or your child is mostly eating solid foods now, start slow, be patient. I wish that I would have told myself to be patient so many times back in the past when I had my kids, because I probably wouldn't have wrecked my metabolism as much as I did trying to do these fast, quick diets. And I just want you to know that you're beautiful, your body is beautiful. It honestly created a miracle, and birth is a miracle. So just try really hard to embrace that, because it's true. So anyway, I hope that these things help if you are a mom or a stay-at-home parent who maybe needs a little encouragement. I know it can be challenging. I'm not trying to diminish the challenges at all, but I do think that every situation has its unique challenges. I think that there are strengths to being able to be home and prepare your own food and being in control of your environment. So use those to your advantage, and I hope you're doing well, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.